Hello, hello, and welcome in to Nancy Be Inspired. I am Nancy DeLeonardi, and I am your host here on Nancy Be Inspired. And I am using a new platform, and I'm also using the video recording, I think. I'm very new to this, and I don't know if this is going to turn out like I thought, but hey, let's give it a go, right? I appreciate your patience with me with this whole new platform, but the platform that I was using before, they moved to Riverside. I was using Spotify for podcasters. I absolutely loved it. It was so easy to use, and they moved us to Riverside, and Riverside is a very, very updated, very I always say, they're serving champagne every day, and I'm just drinking, a glass of ice water, right? I just needed a basic podcast channel just to do my audio like old school radio, right? And here Riverside has this whole platform where you can do video and you can do all kinds of fancy editing, and that's just a little much for me because I just want to bring you really good content and not really all this hoopla here. So my apologies if it doesn't turn out the way that I had hoped. And if I, don't like the way the audio or the video, pardon me, turns out, I believe I can just issue my podcast audio only. So anyway, more to come. We will see about that. So, what do we want to talk about today? I want to talk about, unlocking the power of creativity in your life, right? So that's what I want to talk about. And if you're on video, if this does end up being a video, I, had an incident this year where if you know me, you know that I'm all about inspiration and fitness and healthy living and all of that, right? But I have spent decades, my entire life, in the physical fitness world, and not like professionally, but just personally. I have lived a healthy fitness lifestyle where I've moved my body every single day. I started at 6 years old in the pool doing synchronized swimming, and I really basically really never stopped doing fitness in my life. So I got to the point where I think they didn't say this, but I do believe that I, wore out my meniscus in my knee from all of that activity over the years. 2024 has been a challenge for me, and I'm not going to really get deep into this. I am going to create a whole nother podcast about it. But long story short, I tore my meniscus in two places. And outside of all the home remedies that I tried to do, and God knows I tried everything, I tried everything to make it go away, and ultimately needed to get meniscus surgery on my knee. So I am recovering from that, and that's why you see in the background my environment where I am right now. So that is why I'm, recording from there, but I still wanted to give you information this week and issue a podcast, because that's my commitment to you, is to at least issue one podcast every week so that I can give you content to help you live your best life. So today, like I mentioned, I want to talk about unlocking the power of creativity in your life, because, when you're like me in the situation that I'm in, I'm limited. I can't really walk right now. I can't really move around like normal. I can't drive. It's my right leg. And so you have to learn to be creative, and what does that look like, right? We live in a world that's dominated, by routines and responsibilities. It's easy to lose touch with people, and it's easy to lose touch with our creative side too. Creative expression is an essential part of living and fulfilling a balanced life. It does give you your health and wellness balance there. It's not just about painting or writing. Creativity, is a way that, of thinking and being, that can transform you, right? And it's individual to each person. It's individual to transforming whatever aspect of your life that you want. It could be from your career to your personal relationships. I just want to talk about that and the importance of it, right? So the importance of creative expression. Creativity is more than just a hobby. It's a vital component of mental and emotional well-being. And when we engage in creativity, and creative activities, we allow ourselves to explore like new ideas. We solve problems that way. We become innovative, and we express emotions that might otherwise be, hidden within us. Creativity opens that up for us. I always say that it's sort of like a form of prayer, because when you're being creative and your juices are flowing, whether that's creating art, whether that's knitting, whether that's creating choreography, no matter what that is for you, in those moments of creativity, you are solely immersed in that creativity action. So you're really not thinking about all the other things in your life that may cause you stress and derail you from actually being creative. When you are in the creative zone, you are in, to me, your oneness. To me, your unique gift that you were given is what you enjoy doing, and then that becomes your creative outlet. So it's crucial for your personal growth and self-discovery, helping us to understand ourselves and the way that we, our place in the world, right? So, we it's a way to decompress as well. So I encourage you to set time aside for creative activities. Make creativity a priority in your life. Dedicate, specific times of, slots, whether that's once a week, once a month, and put it in your schedule. And, whether it's painting, journaling, cooking, any form of creativity for you, that creativity of expression, again, consistency is key, right? If for you to attain a goal, you always have to be consistent. So even if it's just 15 minutes a day, it can make a significant effect on your life in the long term. So it has that compounding effect. You do it 15 minutes today, and then the next time it's on your schedule, you might add 5 minutes, and then 15, you double it to 30, then you're doing it 45 minutes, and then your effort in it and your growth in it and your, expression in it continues to grow. But then when you get out of it, actually multiplies as well. So, make sure that you put it in your schedule. It's super important. And you want to, I'll give you another tip too. Number two, surround yourself with inspiration. Surround yourself with things that inspire you. I always say, I have a declutter blog out there and I have a declutter podcast out there, because when you declutter your life and you make space for other things, the clutter isn't taking up space. It's not taking up your time to maintain it. It's not taking up your energy to clean or put things away, because you've minimalized your life, you've simplified your life, you've organized your life so that you do tidy up every day, but the effort is less because you've organized it in such a way that things have their place. You already put in the time and the mindset in the beginning to figure it out, but then it's just, a routine after a while, and that frees you up to do other things. So I always say, in your home, you want to make sure that the things that you have in your home are have meaning to you. It's not a bunch of clutter. That when you look at the things in your life, in your surroundings, that they bring you pleasure, that they bring you joy, that they put a smile on your face, and you can reminisce about, where you got it and your trip to Mexico and where you were when you bought it and what the sun, the day felt like. Was it sun shining and you felt the heat on your body? Those things all come back to me, when I have those big statement pieces and I think about, oh, wow, it was so cool when I went there. And then that will inspire me to do other things, like write a blog. So for me, since I've been I've been injured all of 2024, honestly, and I've been just dealing with it, but it has, now that I am down for the count and in recovery, for my knee, I have to be a good patient. And I really don't know how to be a patient because I'm usually on the go, but I've had to revert to things with my creativity that makes me happy and fulfilled. And what I've been doing with this time is writing blogs. I've been writing blogs. I've been thinking about what podcasts to release. I've been doing Pinterest, and I'm working on a new business for myself. And, I've been taking that creativity, that downtime, and I've been putting my energy into things that, again, ultimately make me happy. And I feel like I'm providing service to the world. So, you want to surround yourself with inspiration. You want to decorate your space with items that inspire you, artwork, books, paintings, photos and places, that either you visited or that you want to visit, right? Because, that's kind of like a dream board, a vision board of where you want to go. Because it's really cool when you have a place that you wanted to go. I've done this. I've done this multiple times where I've had something that I wanted and I had the picture of it. And then, when you actually bring it to life, then you have, wow, I was staring at this picture all the time, but then here's me with the thing. So it's super, super cool. And it really does work. So, do that for yourself and create the space. Be mindful of your surroundings, because it's super, super important that you have, surroundings that really speak to you. And if you live with other people, it still, you have time for a space for yourself. For men, they call it a man cave. Men have that cave where they go in, whether it's a room in your house or literally a basement, that's deemed theirs basically, or a garage or whatever, the couple has worked out. It's kind of a decompression place, but it's also a place for creativity. And even if you share a home with other people, make sure that you have a space for yourself somewhere in that home. Whether it's even a corner of a room with a desk and your favorite things, just make a space for you to go to and revitalize yourself in the creativity space. And also it's always good, I'll say this, to challenge yourself with new experiences, because we thrive in new experiences, right? It's the fear of the unknown, but it's actually the excitement of the unknown as well. So if you try a new hobby, you're going to start something new that you've never done before. I did this several years ago. I wanted to learn calligraphy, and we have the VMFA. I'm in Virginia, and we have the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts. It's a beautiful, museum, and they offer courses too. And they had a calligraphy course, and I went and I took it. I never did calligraphy before. I learned how to do it, and it's an art, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful to learn the strokes and to keep doing the strokes over and over again to get that beautiful art going. So it was really inviting and exciting for me to try that. So do that for yourself. Think of something that you want to do. They have like those wine and art, nights, and they have all different things that you could search online and go with friends and try something new, because creative thinking isn't just for artists. It's a critical skill, and it's a problem solving skill too. So, when you approach challenges in life with a creative mindset, it helps you find innovative solutions to things that others might overlook. And this kind of, mindset actually helps, and it's valuable in the workplace. If you're still working, creative people can lead and improve processes and products and outcomes, because they're used to using their mind differently than the day to day. They've expanded their mindset. They've expanded the way that they look at different things. So they come to the table and they bring a different perspective. I do that all the time in my day job. I am constantly coming up with ideas in meetings that everyone says to me, that's a really good idea. I didn't even think about that, because I'm constantly doing that. So I bring value to the table because I think outside of the norm. I'm process driven, process solution driven, and I'm also efficiency driven, because if we're going to put our time into something, let's do it, where we're using the best skill set for the job. And if it's menial, can we get automation to do that, so that we can take the skills that are unique to the individual and put that to use, as opposed to menial little things that maybe, don't really give a high return on the process, but it's necessary, right, for business. So you try to think about, what you can automate, what you can simplify, so that you can put people to work in your business, and you're inviting them to use their genius, right? We're going to take all this unnecessary work away from you. We're going to automate that, but then your genius is here in this particular skill, and that's where we want you to shine. And so when you have that sweet spot of the work that you like to do, but you're doing creative things on the side, you kind of bring more to the table, because you're expanding the way that you look at things, because that's what creativity does. It's like you're making a meal, right? And you can't really do this with baking, because baking isn't really a science, right? You have to measure everything out because of the way that it cooks in the oven. But when you're making, spaghetti sauce for me, I have a basic recipe, but I do improvise. I'm like, oh, well, today I feel like putting this in it, or today I feel like adding that to it. Even when you make, whatever meal it is, it's like, oh, I'm going to add this flavor to it. I work with a guy, and we had a chili cook-off contest, and he made a chili that was, he won. And then he said, but I'm sorry, I can't give you the recipe because I don't know what I put in it. Like he just like winged it. And so that's the creative genius. It's like, okay, I know I put this in, but I don't know. I didn't really measure it out perfectly. Now, when you bake, you have to do that. But when you're cooking a meal, you don't really have to do that. But when you bake, though, you can put different combinations together. Like if there's a peach cobbler recipe and you want to make a peach and pear cobbler, peach and berry cobbler, you could do that. You can mix it up, make it according to your preferences. But again, it's in the whim, it's in the creative juices going while you're making it. And you're like, oh, you know what, I have peaches, but I have some berries over here, I'm just gonna throw that in. That's like not sticking to, oh my gosh, I have to make it this exact way. It's being creative and being more loose and open with opportunity. And a thing that you can learn too is you can practice brainstorming. Like when you're faced with a problem, take time to brainstorm ideas and multiple solutions. Write down every idea that comes to mind, right? Write down every solution that you think, whether it's possible or not. Just write it. Like, well, I always say, if I had my magic wand, or if in a perfect world, I say that at work too. In a perfect world, this is how it would look like, right? And you're just throwing everything up there, and then you're brainstorming with other people, and then they're bringing their, perspectives in. And the goal is to generate a wide range of possibilities before you narrow down the options, right? So it's kind of like, you've put it all up there, and then you sort of say, okay, this is the biggest picture that we could imagine with no limits. And then you start to dwindle that down to the original, problem that you're trying to solve for, right? But you've got to, yeah, and because if you're just trying one person to do, okay, this is how I've done it before, and this is how I think, it's just your mind and your thought process. But when you bring other people together and you think hypothetically, if there were no limits, we could do this, then you find out, well, maybe there is an option to get close to that we didn't think of before, but we can't really have that pie in the sky, but there is a possibility to get a fraction of that, which would then help our cause here. So, brainstorming is really a skill set that, it can be honed and managed and improved upon. And I have learned that in my day job. I work with really, really intelligent people. And when I get called into a room with them, I have learned so much, and they've expanded my mind. And then the things that I do outside, being creative and searching and being a content creator, just adds more to that. And I've grown exponentially in that space because of these things that I'm telling you today to do. So, try it. Mind mapping. Have you heard of mind mapping? It's a visual tool that helps you organize thoughts and ideas, right? So you start with a central problem, and then you branch out to different possibilities or solutions, related to concepts. And it's a technique that helps you, see the connections and patterns that might not be immediately obvious, right? So mind mapping, try to, hone that skill. When I was growing up, there was a saying, two heads are better than one. Do you remember that? Did anybody ever say that to you? Two heads are better than one, right? It's really the truth. Like, when you have another perspective, you engage in that, brainstorming, and, you can discuss your problems with someone who has a different perspective. Collaboration can lead to creative breakthroughs. And, those are things that you might not ever be able to achieve alone. So I always encourage people to, reach out for help and support, and surround yourself with people. I always surround myself with people smarter than me, because I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't. It's okay to be that person now and then, but I strive to not be that person. I want to learn from other people. I want to grow. And I always want to be around people way smarter than me and way more successful than me. That is actually my goal. My goal in business is to be around entrepreneurs who are successful. I spend time, a lot of time, like just researching people. And I think I've said this in other podcasts too, where centennials, I always listen to them and what have they done in their lives, you know? I mean, you live to be 100 years old. Like, tell me something that I can learn. You know, I listen to and watch YouTube channels where they interview, you know, entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs. And I'm always looking to learn from different people and how did they do it and what did they learn? I have a mentor, Ryan Blair, and I went out to his house and joined his movement, which was a leadership training program. And I learned by him and a lot of other people out there on how to be a leader in business. So never stop learning and never stop investing in yourself. The role of creative expression, you know, in emotional well-being is key. It's creative expression. I said this earlier, is a powerful tool, you know, for processing your emotions too, and, you know, reducing stress, whether you're, you know, like I said, journaling your thoughts or, you know, expressing yourself through dance, which I have done many, many times through Zumba. You know, it's the act of creating something and that act of creating something can be incredibly therapeutic. And you may or may not realize that at the time, but it has residual effects, right? So in the moment, it's you feel good and you're enjoying that, but that you ride that wave for quite a while afterwards. So it allows you to express your feelings that might be difficult to articulate, you know, and otherwise it leads you to emotional clarity and healing. You know, action items that you could do to boost your emotional well-being through creativity is you could start to journal. There's a lot of power in writing things down. We live in a world today where they've actually removed writing from the majority of our lives. You really don't see someone take out a pen and write down your number anymore, right? So I put it in my phone. You know, I'd put it in my phone. You know, where are we going to go? Send me the address. You know, where are we going to? Everybody's digital, right? There's nothing wrong with digital, right? We need it in our lives, but I think we've become so dependent upon it that it's taken away the skill of journaling, and they've actually stopped teaching cursive in school. Cursive is an art. It's a beautiful that actually is a way of creativity, learning how to connect the letters and the capitals and lowercase and learning the fluidness. It actually allows you to write faster, honestly. Cursive is faster than printing, but they removed it, and I'm not going to go there why, but it is a part of creativity that our youth no longer experiences. And so because they're no longer writing and they're texting and everything is digital, we're really removed from, the foundation or really the power of connecting to the universe and God in scripture and writing. We ourselves, when you journal, you are documenting something from your mind to paper. You know, you're writing it, your thoughts to paper, so that you can refer to later in life. You know, you can reflect back on it. That's why people have diaries that were years and years old. You know, many, many books of journaling and diaries. You can reflect back and reminisce about how you felt at the time. And yes, you can remember things, but there's something about the power of journaling that releases stress, that releases just anger, that releases negativity, I'll put it that way. But it also actually brings in your future. If you have goals for your future and you write them down, you know, it's the act of writing it, putting it in your phone, not the same as actually writing it down because it came from your mind to paper in that moment, what that emotion was in that moment, and putting it out on paper. There's something very, very powerful in that. I can't articulate it well enough for you, but I tell you that if you can start journaling your thoughts, you could have many breakthroughs in your life. And so drawing is another way that again, it's from your thoughts to paper, but you're drawing something out, and this is your personal space. It's whatever comes to your mind, whatever you want to write, whatever you want to draw, but get into that practice of taking pen to paper. Really, I have pen and paper in my house. I hope you do too. And if you don't, maybe it's something I should create and sell. So another thing is to engage in our art therapy techniques. You don't need to be an artist to benefit from art therapy. But, I do this, I have this, so I don't really say anything and teach anything or share anything for inspiration that I don't do myself. If you know me, you know that about me. If you know me in person, you know that about me. And if you've gotten to know me, virtually, you will learn that about me. I'm pretty consistent in all of my podcasts and all of my blogs, and I only share things that I've done and I use myself. And I have coloring books in my house, and I do color. There's some kind of, again, release in the beauty of coloring. It's a childlike, mindless, activity, but it's really therapeutic. You can relax and you can doodle. I don't know if you remember when you were in school, I used to doodle all the time. Like the teacher would be teaching and I would just doodle, a doodle, because I was like, I can't sit here and just stare at you. I can hear you. And doodling, I wasn't really thinking because I could pay attention to what the teacher was saying, but doodling was just giving me that release in whatever, was happening in that class at the time. So, it helps you relax. It helps you process your emotions. And you can focus on the process rather than the outcome. Because when you're done doodling, you're like, what the heck did I just draw? But it doesn't matter, right? And you want to incorporate, another thing you can do is incorporate movement into your creative, practice. And I'm really big on this. I've said it in many, many podcasts, and I believe in moving your body every single day. You can see I'm trying to move around here if this video does go, and I do release it as a video, but I'm kind of uncomfortable here, sitting here. But so I keep moving around, my apologies. But, movement, something that I have not been able to do while I'm in my healing process is, I try to move, honestly. I was walking 3 miles a day, and now I just can walk, in the beginning, a couple steps. I've progressed to, walking in my house, and then I'm trying to walk my driveway to get outdoors and get as many steps as I can in, not literally counting, but just to keep my leg moving and my leg active. But I can feel the difference. I can feel the difference of not doing the yoga or the dance and getting the cardio up. I feel the difference. I feel it because I've done it my whole life. And this has really been a challenge for me, trying to recover and being immobile when I am a very active person. So again, if you're not like me and you're just starting a practice, try yoga or dance. There's it's called, my friend does it. What is it called? It's that expression dance that he does. And it's, it'll come to me. But it's a dance that he goes to, I believe it's every other week that they have it, and they offer it throughout the world. And it's just that you go to this group and you dance to music, but there's no choreography. People just move to the flow of the music, however they feel like doing it. People do it with their eyes closed, he said, and it might be 45 minutes to an hour. And you wander around the room and you're just letting the music flow through you however you see fit. And he said that he actually is tired when he leaves there because he feels like it's like the biggest stretch class of his life because nothing is tense. He's just moving around and he absolutely enjoys it. He said he's like, he can't be without it now that he does it. So he's not one to go into a Zumba class and follow any leader, in class. He just likes going and letting the music move him. And that's what this whole program is about. I want to say it's, can't think of it. Something like, it'll come to me. It's something dance. But anyway, check it out in your area because they are world renowned. I have another woman that I work with and she does it too. Ecstatic dance. That's what it's called. Ecstatic dance. I knew it would come to me. Ecstatic dance. And you just go with the flow. And my friend at work, she does it too and absolutely loves it. Says the same thing that my guy friend says. They both say the same thing about it. So, they're like, you need to go to it. I'm like, I would try it. Again, that would be me venturing out and doing something that I haven't done before. I'm very much like I like to dance and move to the, so I probably would make my own moves in my head, but, I would try it. I've never done it before. But again, allow yourself to do something new and fresh like that. It can be effective for releasing tension, and it also makes you connect with your inner self. So these are tips that I hope help you bring out the creativity in your life, because again, it's directly associated with your wellness journey, right? To be creative, don't stifle it down. It's not just for children. It's not just for children. We need to actually release our inner child to actually live a more balanced life. A lot of us grew up just in the world that we live in, the way our parents did the best that they could. And everybody was taught to, we're supposed to act like adults and be like adults. And yeah, there's responsibility there. Absolutely. But you also need to release that inner child and let things loose, because when you think about something a lot and then you can't get the answer to it and you're stressed about it and you think about it and you just can't let it go. But then you go to a dance class or you meditate or you're reading a book, and then all of a sudden, whoo, light bulb goes off and you think about it because you let go of it. And you made room to open up space not to hone on that, stress you out about that, and then it comes to you. And that is really how all of it really works. It works for our benefit. And so really try to, include some kind of creativity in your life and tell me about it, right? I want you to contact me. I'll bring you on my podcast show and we'll share with other people how this blog or this podcast helped you. A lot of times I say blog because I always usually will write a blog with my podcast, so that, some people like to read, so they want to read it, and other people like to listen. So I do this, and now I'm going to have videos, so you might be able to watch it too. But whatever, I put everything out there free for everyone, for whatever element works best for you. That's all I'm trying to do here. So when you embrace the steps that I've shared with you today, you will not only nurture your creative side, right? But you'll unlock new possibilities in every area of your life, right? So remember, the world is your canvas, right? You say the world is your oyster. The world is your canvas. So how will you choose to create your masterpiece, right? How will you choose to create it? It could be dance, it could be art, it could be photography, it could be anything. I go on YouTube, I see people, like I was sharing earlier, that started a business. This woman started a business out of doodling, out of doing little doodles and little flowers, and then people liked her flowers, and she put it on Etsy, and then, more Etsy, and then turned into this multi-million-dollar business. And she had no intention of making it a business. So who knows? If your passion, and I think a lot of times it's the passion that turns into a business, because you're not motivated by money, right? Forget that. You're doing what you love to do to help you, for this could be, for your own creativity, but it might resonate with somebody else. And if you put it out there for other people, then they reap the benefit from your creativity, because like I said, it's like a prayer. It's like a download. It comes out through you, and then it's going to serve someone else. So let the world be your canvas. And let me know, reach out to me. I'd love to bring you on my podcast. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Thank you for being part of our community. I am so grateful for you. I'm glad that you tune in. I'm happy to bring these podcasts to you. I have some special guests coming up. I have 4 special guests coming up in the near future. I've had to take a little break from actually having them on the podcast, because I'm limited as to how long I can do the podcast, how long I can do this, and where I can do it in my home. But stay tuned, because I have some great guests coming on. Then it has to do with skincare and, entrepreneurs and people who started, older in life, physicians, women entrepreneurs. I have different folks coming on that I'm super, super excited to bring them to you. So they started with creativity too, right? So stay tuned for more. Again, I appreciate you. I thank you for joining us today. And until the next podcast, let this inspire you today.